football talk, man. This Hard Knocks clip got everybody going crazy. Play it, Joe.
That kind of money, like there's nobody in the draft. There's no free agents, receivers they're either gonna be going back to their team at $20 million.
I mean, who would you say would go sign up running back to that dollar amount?
A team anyone that has money to spend.
There's a lot of running backs in free agency.
Yeah, but are there potential difference makers really? Like after you watch this film?
Because we're not going to franchise him. Like, it doesn't make any sense to franchise him. So
unless you think you can trade him after doing that.
Right, and then could we get something and trade him? What are we really going to get? Unless it got down to like $7 million. And I don't want to offer that because I don't want to be like we disrespected him. There's 31 teams. It only takes one to, maybe be open to doing something. If it doesn't get to that, hey, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to let you hit free agency, find out your market, come back, and let us know if we can match it. If we can, we'll have those discussions.
I mean, in a perfect world, I'd still like to have him back. Until we can prove that we can have a decent offense without him.
Daniel's making a lot of money, and it's the fork. Like, we got to figure out is he the guy? So we got to protect him.
What? Wait. So, like I said, I knew of the first clip, right? I think this one was better, Joe, because isn't that the owner? And he literally said, I would like to have him back until we have a formidable offense. Well, hey, I don't know how GMs do what they do, honestly, because you see, I'm here doing the show. I'm not an NFL GM. I'm not an NBA GM, but I'll tell you like this. If I'm coming off a 6-win season and the lowest scoring season in franchise history since 1979, the first thing I'm going to do is not think about not bringing Saquon back to talk about protecting Daniel Jones. I don't know where to start, man. I don't know where to start. Dave, help me out here, because that was insane.
Some people don't deserve jobs. Some people don't deserve to make certain decisions. And as an owner, I understand you want your GM to do their job. But that's a moment where you step in and be like, nah, he ain't going nowhere. Whatever he want, we going to pay him. Y'all got into the playoffs 2 years ago because he was your running back. Not because of Danny Dimes, Danny Nichols, no matter what you want to call him. Daniel Jones was not the reason y'all got there. Plain and simple. He had, 22 touchdowns and 3 interceptions? Wow. Great season. Paid the man $45 million a year, and now you're regretting it. Because you don't have a running back there, and you went and got him another receiver, but the receiver didn't even look happy when he got drafted. He was like, man, I don't know what's up. I hope they know how to use me. They didn't even know what to do with Saquon, and they let him walk freely. And then he said, I don't want to offer him $7 million because it'd be disrespectful. Like, you gonna put the air quotes up? Like, because that means you really don't care that people view it as being disrespectful. You just did that to be like, to try to appease him. But come on, man, that is disrespectful to one of the best running backs in the league, to not even give him an offer that he deserves. And you tell him to go test free agency and then come back and see if maybe we can match it. You think he was really going to come back? No, as soon as you gave him the opportunity to leave, he left. That he was your franchise player, not your quarterback, no one on your defense, not your offensive line, none of your receivers. No one was your franchise other than Saquon Barkley. It made absolutely no sense. It made no sense. It made absolutely no sense to put your best running back in that situation, man. And that shows you why the Giants are so terrible. The management sucks. I'm not a GM, but I know not to do that. you can see, talent. Then he said, then they were talking about other running back free agents. They was like, ain't no other running backs back there's the difference maker.
That they could have got anyway.
And he was just trying to make every situation to where he didn't have to worry about signing Saquon. It didn't say that he needs to protect his quarterback. First of all, what did you do to help protect you? What offensive lineman did you sign or draft to help your offensive line?
They got John Runyon. All right, you said you asked. Go ahead.
It ain't enough. Mark, it might be the same ownership, but the management is still terrible. It's trash. The management is terrible. Okay, we'll see if they know something. We'll see if they know something. You might be the only person that thinks that they might know something, because that GM look like he knows absolutely nothing.
Okay, so to piggyback off of what Mark's saying, when they won their Super Bowl, we all know what that defense was. That defensive line was stout. They made a wild card run, and this is why everybody says it. They were like, look, if you had at the right time, you could make it to the Super Bowl. And that's what those two Eagles teams did. I mean, those Giants teams did. And the reason why I really can't stand the Giants is because both times they went to the Super Bowl, they beat the Cowboys on the way there. But this is why I know. Eli Manning, would you say he's a top 10 quarterback? Was he a top 10 quarterback when he won those Super Bowls?
No.
So again, he made the right plays at the right time. Teddy, I know New England knows this all too well. The helmet catch, like, come on, like there was just some divine intervention that helped these teams. And the Giants have been incompetent ever since. The Odell Beckham era, we clearly see what that was. They went and got Jason Garrett as the offensive coordinator. They thought that was going to help the Saquon Barkley era. I mean, he got injured during that. So again, you can say in the last 20 years they won two, but again, people always bring up Trent Dilfer. Like, again, it's just moments in time where things just happen at the right time for a certain team. So look, talking about this GM, there was another clip because I watched a little bit of the show before we actually got on here, and there was maybe he was a scout or something, and he threw it out. He's like, maybe we can get, he said, picture Saquon Barkley behind the Chiefs offensive line. Picture Saquon Barkley behind, he said, I think he said the Commanders, and then he also said the Eagles offensive line. And he was like, he stopped when he got to the Eagles and said, hey, you think Howie would give us a second round pick for him or like a third round pick, like something for Saquon? Because again, they are looking for a running back. And the GM just looked and was like, yeah, I still think we might just let him go. Everybody was trying to find different ways to get something back before just letting him walk out the door for nothing. And you go out there and say, well, Josh Jacobs was on the market. Tony Pollard was on the market. These guys will probably demand more money than Saquon because of his injury history. First of all, wait. Saquon Barkley injury history is one thing I always joke about it. But again, when he is healthy, Daniel Jones managed to have a way better QBR when he was out there. His passer rating was like 90% versus the 75 that he was when he wasn't out there. So again, I don't know what type of analytics went into that move or what type of film he was watching. But when your owner, who's looked like he's almost about 95 years old, comes down there and says he is our offense, and you want him to just walk out for the $7 million, throw the disrespectful offer out there. I'd rather you throw the disrespect out there than just let him walk for nothing. Because you still could have franchise tagged him. You already disrespected him the year before with the franchise tag. So this is why he actually left. He said, y'all should have paid me last year. You didn't? All right, I'm gone. And that's what you get. Now you get to see a $40 million quarterback hand the ball off to a $12 million quarterback behind one of the best O-lines in football. So now you got to see it twice too. So every game you play, that trade for Brian Burns, you better hope Brian Burns can stop him in the backfield, because Saquon gonna try to go for 200 every time you play the Giants. Yo,
right,
man. Listen, man. This GM, I'm so disappointed. His first name is Joe. Man, get Joe out of here, man. Please, you're making us look bad.
And he drafted your boy. He was responsible for drafting Josh Allen. Go ahead, Joe.
Man. But he saw Josh Allen look until he got him some help. But anyways, man, look at this though. You mentioned Tomo with Saquon Barkley. 90 QB rating without Saquon Barkley, 76 QB rating. With Saquon Barkley in 38 games, 8,200 yards, average 218 yards a game. Without Saquon Barkley, 4,200 and 22 games, average 192 yards a game, under 200 yards a game. With Saquon Barkley in 38 games, 46 touchdowns. Without Saquon Barkley in 22 games, 16 touchdowns. With Saquon Barkley in 38 games, 20 interceptions. Without Saquon Barkley in 22 games, 20 interceptions. So, and I ain't even counting the fumbles. So look, you see this dude without Saquon Barkley, right? And then Saquon Barkley finally is healthy for a full season. He gets you 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns. You make the playoffs. And a lot of those games, he was clutch at the end of the game, including that first game of the season. And what do you decide to do? Give Daniel Jones a big contract and franchise tag Saquon Barkley. What are you doing? Like, who in the I feel like everybody in the world knew Daniel Jones he wasn't ready to get that contract. He had to play, like, he's supposed to be proving himself. The man had 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And we whoop-de-doo about that. And then win the playoffs, look good against the Vikings, who had one of the worst defense in the league, and then look terrible against the Eagles. So that GM got to go. Now, Dave, I got to disagree with you with one thing. The owner shouldn't step in. I feel like when you're the owner, you hire the guy, you let the guy make the moves.
I'm gonna leave
If
for
the
this
guy
part of the
messed
conversation.
up, if something doesn't go right, the blood is not in your hands, it's on his hands, and you just let him go and get somebody else. But if you jump in there and it don't work out, it's bad on you. You know, and we see it plenty of times when owners stepped in and it backfired more than most.
We've also seen when an owner stepped in and it worked out for him. Remember the Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo situation, where the owner stepped in and told Bill Belichick, who's a Super Bowl caliber coach, who's won Super Bowl titles, to step in and say, "No, you're not trading. You're going to trade Jimmy, and we're going to keep Brady." And he won 2 titles after that. So
okay. We're talking about the GOAT.
We're talking about franchise players as well. Tom Brady was a franchise player still at that time. Jimmy Garoppolo was not. Bill Belichick, though, he had a plan in place to be able to replace Brady, and that did not work out for him.
Get him, Dave.
So that's why he got Jimmy Garoppolo out the door.
Now
with Saquon Barkley, they have nothing in place to replace him. So you keep the quarterback in there who's not good. Well, let's say he's not great. He hasn't done anything to prove himself that he deserved that contract. But your running back, who's shown that he deserves that contract, you don't give it to him, but you give it to that quarterback.
Let me ask you this though: was he trying to get rid of Brady, or was he preparing him to take over Brady's spot? And
he was trying to get rid of Brady.
No, that year.
Yes, he was trying to get rid of Brady.
I hear that.
That was the talk for like 3 months.
Out the door.
Yeah,
but even that's the case, bro. We're talking about Tom Brady. We're talking about a guy who won 4 Super Bowls at that time. 4. And compared to Saquon Barkley at running back. Come on, man. Give me a better example of that. I would have told him no. Fuck him out. It's Tom Brady.
Period. I'm talking about the player. Period. The impact that the player has on the game.
Yeah,
Brady has a bigger impact on the game than Jimmy Garoppolo. Saquon Barkley has the bigger impact than Daniel Jones.
Let me ask you a question though.
I'm getting rid of Daniel Jones
he would have stepped in
before I get rid of Saquon Barkley.
Let's say for the sake of argument, he would have stepped in, and then Saquon, with his injury history, would have got hurt next year. After paying him all that money for a running back, how would the owner look then?
Like, I know what I need to go get. We need to go get an offensive line to protect my running back.
But you already paid this dude. He's not even on the field. My whole thing is this: when you hire GM, you let him do his job. That's how I am. If you hire GM, you let him do his job, and then if he don't do his job right, you get him out of there the next year, and you find somebody else. What's the point of hiring a GM if you're gonna step in? Now we talking about Tom Brady. That's different. We're talking about a guy who's proven that won 4 Super Bowls, and you're trying to get rid of him for a Jimmy Garoppolo.
Saquon is not a proven running back in the league.
Not to Tom Brady standard. Are you like real? Like,
no one's to Tom Brady standard, but I'm talking about just him as the player, what he's done in his position.
Now, here's another reason, bro.
Go ahead.
Here's another reason why, as an owner, I'm gonna step in that moment because I let you sign Daniel Jones for $40 million and it's failed drastically.
So why
That
would
was
you
your
fire him then?
so that was your call. He probably giving them one more situation. He like, so we're going to bring Saquon back for a year or two for how much ever the contract was going to be. And if it fails, everybody's gone. You're gone, they're gone, and we're just going to start over.
What's the point of keeping him if you got to step in one more time? If you got to step in and keep Saquon, why keep him? That's you telling him you don't trust him.
It's happened, but
shouldn't
it's
trust
happened
him.
around him. I mean,
He shouldn't
Fire him. That's my point. Fire him. Like, if he's the GM, let him do a job. But if you don't want him doing the job, get him out of here. That's my thing. If he let the GM do his job, I would hate to be hired as a GM and the owner is stepping in. I would hate that. You not let me do my job.
And that's not even. We're not saying him doing it every time. That's just the one situation where your franchise players there. Like, come on, man.
That's the time. That's the time.
You really
that's the time to step in, Joe. That's what we're talking about.
Those are the time you put to trust your GM the most in those critical times. That's why you have
when
them.
your GM has showed you that you can't trust him, then come on, Joe.
You think the GM stepped in and said, "Y'all need to sign Lamar right now"? Did the GM do that? No. He said, "You know what? I trust him." And what happened?
He definitely had some say in that, though. He definitely had some say in, like,
No.
what are we gonna do here? What you can't tell? No. I'm sorry, Joe. You can't tell me I'm a millionaire, and I own this team, and you talking about making a franchise changing moment, and the owner was just like, "I trust you on it." The owner had some say in that.
Yeah, of course, definitely asked questions. We saw he did. Yeah, he got some say. My whole thing is him stepping in, making a final decision, bro. No, you got him for a reason. That's why he's there.
Or at least having some other kind of influence. Like, he got to talk to him one-on-one. Say, look, man, I hear what you're saying, but this is what I think should happen.
Which is cool. And then if he didn't do that, I mean, I think obviously the owner can do whatever he wants. As far as like, he should voice his opinion, but the GM has to make the decision at the end of the day. In my opinion, I feel like the GM should make the decision, because if it doesn't work out, it's on the GM hands, and you get rid of him and find somebody else. Why have a GM if you're gonna step in?
If you're gonna step in every time, I agree with you on that one. If you're gonna step in when it's something as big as this,
bro, look at Daniel Snyder.
That was every time, though, Joe.
But every time he stepped in, then it backfired. Every time he stepped in.
But that's what I'm saying.
Often,
yeah, he did it every time.
One instance.
Every time he stepped in. So let's say he did it one time. Pick any situation. It backfired because he's not the football genius.
But he's done it multiple times, Joe. That's what we're saying. I don't think
y'all
you're
get what I'm saying.
I don't think you get what we say. He's done it multiple times. It's not one.
What you're saying.
Can you name one time that the Giants GM has stepped in and was like, "No, don't do this"?
I don't know. My whole point is, let's take the first time Daniel Snyder ever stepped in, and let's say that's the only time he did. It backfired. My whole point is, when owners step in, it usually doesn't work unless it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady different. He 4 Super Bowls. I mean,
no, hold on.
On my TV, I would have said, "What are you doing?"
The owner had something to do with cutting Odell. I mean, outside of him making that run with the Rams, what has Odell really been?
What?
Injured.
I think the owner had something to do with them cutting him. I think he had the final say on if they're gonna cut Odell back from the Giants. I think he stepped in and was like, "All right, let him go."
And what did the Giants do since Odell?
But what has Odell done since then? Outside of the
Super Bowl.
Outside of
Odell won a Super Bowl.
They won. Odell won.
The Rams.
I thought he was on that losing team. Nah, they won. They did. They beat the They beat the Bengals. He got hurt. That's what he got hurt. That's why I don't know.
He was about to be MVP if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah. Owner shouldn't step in, bro. Let the owner be the owner and let the GM be the GM.
So in that situation, if the owner would have never stepped in, they don't cut Odell, and he's still there, being Odell getting hurt every year. What do you say then?
If the GM not doing his job, you get a new one. Unless you want to be the GM, Jerry Jones.
Hey, I see what you're saying.
That's how it works. I'm not gonna let the man do his job. I pay you for a reason. I hired you because I trust you. If I don't trust you, why am I stepping in? If I trust you,
that's not always true because Blaze, that's not always true because I'm gonna bring up that Brady situation again. It's only happened once, and he hasn't done it again. He hasn't done it since.
You let Brady go to the Bucks, and he's just like, "Hey, this your team."
Exactly.
And then what happened? You gone. I don't care how long you've been here. I don't care how much of a veteran. I don't care who you are. I'm firing you because you ain't doing your job. And he did the right thing.
It took him like 2
He
years.
also
It's
exactly.
Belichick though. It's Belichick, bro. You're not gonna fire Belichick on the first year. Come on now. Like, it's Belichick, bro.
If Brady go win the Super Bowl, he got to go. Because I told you he shouldn't have left in the first place. He left because of you. Like, nah, bro, you
But they
gotta
got-
go.
And honestly, everyone thought that I was tripping when I said that Bill Belichick should be on the hot seat. And what happened? He got fired.
There it is.
Look,
So we
Well-
agree then, all right?
Nah, we don't.
I know
Nah.
we
I don't agree.
Well, you know,
We still don't
I
agree.
don't. I told you I wanted to leave for this conversation because now we gonna try right into a GM that's like, I mean, an owner that steps in, and sometimes